In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to create beautiful ombre nails with a simple step-by-step guide. So first of all, what are you going to need? So you're going to need your acrylic monomer and obviously your brush in whatever size you prefer to work with. Then you're going to need your white powder to create your ombre, and then I'm going to show you two. I'm going to show you one with a pinky undertone and one with a nudie. So the pink we're going to be using is Flawless, and the nudie tone is going to be in shade Goddess. Now when you pick your shades, they need to be a cover powder rather than just a sheer acrylic powder. They need to have a bit of depth to the pigment for it to be able to work with the ombre. And then last but not least, you will need your clear to encapsulate the nails. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Sarah and I am the owner of Hello Gorgeous Nail Systems. I'm an acrylic brand and we soon will be launching other products, but for now it's just acrylic. And this channel is just everything nails, short tutorials, everything to help you out. We do have accredited courses and masterclasses for anybody that is struggling, but this is just our series of short videos on how to use acrylic. So let's get started. So the nails have already been prepped. So the tip has been applied, the shine has been removed, and they're all ready to go on with your acrylic. So you've got your acrylic monomer. And then first things first, you are going to need your white acrylic. So I'm going to do, what should I do first? I'll do the pinky one first. So you've got your nail and then you've got your monomer. So pop your brush into the monomer. And the little tip when it comes to acrylic, if you've got a client that's got slightly problematic nails and they do suffer with lifting and you haven't got an acid-free primer, you can use the acrylic itself as a primer before you go on with your acrylic. So you would just lightly brush a bit of liquid over the nail and that will act as a primer. So what you want to do with your white is you want to start at zone 2. Now you can do this with any shape, size or length of nail and it will all roughly be the same. So you want to take your bead of white, probably like a medium sized bead, let it settle, let it do its thing. And then you want to place it in like zone 2, like 3/4 of the way up the nail. Again, let it settle, do its thing. Pat it from side to side and gently move it down the nail. Now you want to let gravity do its thing. So your nails would normally always be pointed downwards. For the sake of this video, so that you can see it correctly, I have got them slightly higher than I normally would. So you want to brush down the nails, remove any excess, use it brushing your brush in between, wiping your brush, sorry, not brushing your brush, and then gently pat it into place using the belly of your brush. Then what you want to do is you want to gently just fan out the top of your acrylic. If it's dried slightly, wet your brush slightly, and you're just gently fanning this up towards the cuticle, so creating like a blend. Then what you want to do is you want to then go in with your pink. So like I said, I'm using the shade Flawless, and then this wants to go not quite into zone, fully into zone 3, into the cuticle. You want it to go just where it slightly meets the fan of the pink, sorry, the fan of the white. So this doesn't need to be a very big bead. Again, we're letting it settle. Then we're just dropping it, letting it melt and do its thing. And then we're going to pat it from side to side. And then we're going to gently drag it over the nail. And as you can see there, it's just made a light connection. So you're connecting the pink and the white. And you want to make sure that you drag it over the pink, over the white, sorry. I don't know why I keep calling it pink. You then want to take your cuticle bead, which again doesn't need to be a very big bead. Let it settle, place it into the cuticle area, let it work its magic, using the point of your brush to push it up into the cuticle, go down your sides and connect all the acrylics. So you want to gently stroke it down. I'm barely touching it. I'm letting it work for itself. Then what you want to do is you want to take a little bit of your clear, and we call this encapsulation, and we're just gently going over it. So from a side we want to create the apex, create the shape without making it too thick. And the reason we don't do this with the pink is because we don't want to cover the whole nail with the pink. So we're using the clear to create the shape so that the colour doesn't get disturbed. So a small amount of clear. I'm going to drop it around there because that's where it needs it. I'm going to push it up to the cuticle area, and then I'm going to drag it down the rest of the nail so that it all sits and connects. Use the belly of your brush to push it into place, and that would be your pink ombre. That's a very subtle pink. Once it's all finished, which I will show you, it looks absolutely stunning. So whilst we let that dry, I'm going to do the exact same thing, but I'm going to show you with our more nudie colour, which is in the shade Goddess. So same as before, let's move that finger out the way for a minute so we don't end up ruining it. So we're going to go in with the white bead. Again, 3/4 of the way up the nail. So around there, let it settle, and then we're going to pat and just gently using the belly of the brush to work it down the entire nail. So like I said, use gravity, damp your brush if need be, and then we just want to fan this up the nail. Remember to wipe your brush in between. If you feel you need a little bit of extra white, then do so, just add it to the tip. Again, pat it. Once you're happy with that, exact same process as before, and where we're going into the fanned area with the nude. I'm going to let it dry slightly. So once you're happy, move the white out the way. We're going to bring in Goddess. And then same as before, we don't need a huge bead. And we're going to drop that into the fanned area. Let it melt. I'm going to pat it from side to side, and then we're going to gently drag it over the rest of the nail. And this is just so that it all blends into the white. What you don't want is a dead white line across the centre and then a solid bit of nude or pink. You want it all to fan. Then you want your cuticle bead. Again, let it settle. So you need to think, you need to pick up your bead, wait, drop, wait. Use the point of your brush to push it into place. And then gently fan it down the rest of the nail. Once you're happy with that, Same as before, and again there in your stress area and in your apex, you're just adding a tiny bit of clear to encapsulate the whole nail, so that when you file it, you're not going to be removing any of the product. So once that is dried, I will show you how we finish it, and then I will show you the two side by side. You decide which one you prefer. So now that they are dry, we are going to finish them off. So a good indication to whether acrylic is dry is to give it a little tap. If it give it a little tap and it sounds hard and crackly, you know it's ready. This one needs a tiny bit longer, but by the time I do this, it will be ready. So if you're e-file trained, then I would use my 5-in-1 bit to refine and finish off the ombre nail. If you're not, then I will do the other one by hand so that you can see the difference. The only good thing I would say, if you are thinking about becoming an acrylic nail technician, I would invest in some good e-file training and a good e-file and e-file bits. It will make your life 1,000 times easier. So I've got this on an RPM of around 25, and then what I would gently do is, because it's a 5-in-1, it is finer at the end, like medium, slightly coarser on the outside edge. I'm going to go, hopefully this won't ping off because it's a dodgy nail hand. I'm going to go around my cuticle area, just gently. I'm hardly applying any pressure. This will just make sure that my product is nice and thin over the cuticles. And then I'm just going to gently go over the nail to refine. So we're going over the nail. This wouldn't do that on a human, but because this nail wants to ping off, keeps pinging over. And so as you can see, it's just smoothing it over, refining it all down, blending it all together, and then it will just make that nice and crisp. Once you have done that, I would take that one off and I would just go in with my mini sanding band. This I would only have on around 12, it doesn't have to be very high. And this is just going to buff out any drill marks or any coarse marks. So we're just, you want it to move constantly, you don't want it to stop. And this is just buffing over the nail. Make sure that they're not thick, make sure they've got a nice shape along the apex. And then I always just go around my free edge with a nail file. Make sure that it's nice and neat. Again, this is easier on a human because your human's fingers aren't going to ping off at any given moment. And then once you're happy with that, you can go over with your buffer and then on with your top coat. So first things first, I would use our Prep and Grow. I would give the nail a spray, remove any of the dust. Take our Shine On, which is our non-wipe top coat, and just give a thin coat over the nail. Once you're happy with that, pop it in the lamp for 60 seconds. That's come out the lamp, and then that would be your pink ombre. So the white just blends in with the pink. So you've got a more blended nail and you haven't got the sharpness of the French. Then I'm going to do this one by hand. So again, we're going around with our hand file. I would use a 180 grit to create this. And then you're buffing over the whole nail. Making sure that it's nice and smooth. Going around your cuticle, making sure that your acrylic area isn't too thick. Down your side walls, just blending it all in. Again, once you're happy with that, give it a spray, get rid of all of the dust. And then you would go on with your shine. Just let that dry a minute. Once it's dry, go on with your shine. Once you're happy with that, pop it in the lamp. Once it's out the lamp, those are the two different results. I personally prefer it with the nudie colour than I do the pink. I think it looks really pretty, and it's just blended from your white into your cover powder, and it just gives a nice ombre nail. Obviously they always look better on a human than a hand, but for training, this is the easiest way. So I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please like and subscribe.